The alien council meets to mock the primitive Terran warship they intercepted near the outer rim. Their laughter fades when the scans finish. Something inside that vessel isn't supposed to exist. They laughed. Then they stopped. A warship, they called it. Hollow, rust-colored. Stitched together like it remembered what death looked like and wore it proudly. The High Auditor, voice soaked in contempt, let his mandibles click twice before saying, "It's leaking radiation from 3 points. You think this is a trap?" Tension flickered through the chamber, but laughter returned fast like children daring each other to touch fire. Primitive Earth, last known species to broadcast music through deep space after all. Run a scan. Deep interior. Let's see. What kind of filth crawls inside their coffin? The light dimmed. Panels flickered blue. They scanned. And for 6 seconds, everything held still. Then one of them whispered, "Is that a shrine?" No one answered, because the scan kept going. And deeper inside that broken machine, buried beneath melted armor, they found something worse than tech. They found faces. Thousands. Carved, welded, inked, human faces. Grinning, screaming, calm, a memorial maybe, or a warning. But one thing was certain. Each one had names. And a date. The auditor leaned forward, slowly. His mouth stopped clicking. There's no crew complement registered. How is it moving? Silence. Then the engineer finally spoke. "Sir, that warship has no living crew." Eyes shifted. Mandibles tightened. No AI? No psionic pilot? Negative. But the ship is aware. That's when the air changed. Across the table, another elder cleared her throat. She hadn't spoken in 3 cycles. The markings. Their names of soldiers, units, battles. Some going back, she tapped her console, 3 centuries. But Earth was quarantined less than 2. The room fell completely still, even the ambient. Songstone designed to soothe through low harmonic pulses dimmed to black. "So how are they here?" someone whispered. "They never left." Another screen lit up. A battle log from a probe. Before it died, the last 10 seconds recorded nothing but static. And then a voice. Rough. Male. Amused. "You picked the wrong ghost ship, didn't you?" The screen went dark, and that was before Earth even responded. They didn't want to admit it. But the warship was still moving, not drifting, not tumbling from momentum. It moved with intent. Trajectory lock updated, the analyst chittered. It's adjusting course. Directly toward the council's forward relay. It shouldn't be able to, said the auditor flatly. It has no propulsion signature. And yet the rusted beast slid forward across space, trailing behind it the hum of silence where there should have been heat or light. "That's not possible," whispered the defense tactician. No one corrected him. They were all watching now. It was an ugly thing, brutalist in design. Slab armor, riveted seams, gun batteries the size of towers, some hanging limp, others surgically restored. Nothing elegant. Nothing sleek. Alien fleets were art. Curves, quantum sails, magnetized pulse fields. This ship looked like it had been built angry. Inside, they found more. The scans got deeper. A black chamber, circular, 30 meters wide. 116 rifles lined the walls. Human rifles. Different models. Generations apart. At the center, a cracked helmet sat on a stone pedestal. The visor still bloody. Translation running. A symbol resolved on the pedestal's side. 3 words burned in, not painted. "We never, left." "Turn off the scan," barked the auditor. "Why?" "Because it's scanning us back." The operator froze. He hadn't touched anything. But a secondary data stream had appeared on his screen. The warship was pinging them slow, surgical pulses across the relay network, not brute force. It wasn't. Hacking. It was. Remembering. Sir, it's mapping our council structure, organically. I think it's building a chain of command chart based on our delays. Shut it down. Blackout comes now. Too late. The warship blinked. Just once. All the lights on its hull went dark. And then, quietly, its primary rail batteries came online. A ripple of electricity danced across its side like it had been holding its breath. They're preparing to fire. Impossible. We're outside its range. No one replied. The oldest among them, the one with eyes dull from 300 cycles of conquest, finally rose from his seat. Her voice was tired, but clear. Pull up Terran war doctrine. Anything. Post-contact collapse. An archivist chirped. There is no doctrine, Elder. After the collapse, they went dark. Earth refused further council protocols. They shut every gate, destroyed their satellites. There was no response, and now there is another tremor. Not physical, emotional. Across every console in the room, 3 words appeared again. Same message, same font, same timing. We never left. This is a psychological weapon, said the younger analyst, too fast. Some kind of mimetic broadcast primitive Terran superstition tactics. No, the elder said softly. This is worse. This is memory. Not message. Another scan revealed something else. The armor wasn't armor. Not in the traditional sense. It was hull plating, yes, but stacked over bones. Real bones. Human. Remains woven into steel. Thousands of them. Not a ghost ship. A grave. Still sailing. Still fighting. There's a primary signal inside, muttered the signal tech, his voice unsteady. Buried deep. I don't think it's a I. It's analog. Bioreactive. I think it's a brain. Human? Not just human. Military. Preserved. Augmented. Embedded into the ship's navigation stack. They'd built a shrine. They'd built a warhead. They'd built a martyr into a machine. She's choosing the targets manually, the tech whispered. She's still fighting the war. A quiet buzz filled the room. Then a voice came through the relay. Female. Gravelly. American English. No encryption. Hello, Council. Everyone froze. She sounded calm, almost amused. You're late. The elder leaned in, slow. Identify yourself. I'm the last captain of the UNSC Morning Star. I died 208 years ago. This ship didn't. The auditor swallowed. You're speaking across 3 light years. That's I'm not speaking. The voice smiled. Somehow, I'm remembering loud enough to be heard. A pause. The kind that drops temperature. I buried my crew with their weapons. Every soldier who died on my decks is still here. You think this is a relic. It's not. She inhaled. Long, deep. This is a knife, a sharp one. And I remember exactly where to stab. Rail capacitors surged. One of the Council's outer satellites blinked out of existence, not exploded. Just gone. They're using relativistic rods, someone gasped. Not missiles. No propulsion signature because they're launched on slings. Gravity flung. That made it worse. The humans didn't just fight dirty. They fought with math. You underestimated us. Another satellite vanished. You quarantined us. A third. You? Thought silence meant defeat. The warship surged forward. Its hull glinting in reflected starlight. It didn't look like a vessel anymore. It looked like revenge. And behind the growing horror, one more phrase appeared on every council screen, written in English. And Terran blood. This isn't our first extinction event. Inside the UNSC Morning Star, something human stirs. Not quite alive, not quite machine. It watches the Council squirm and remembers everything that made Earth dangerous in the first place. It started with a blink. Not of eyes, but of thought. Somewhere deep in the ship's blackened marrow behind, walls lined with scorched names and battle-stained metal, a light flickered. Neural. Subtle dot, then another dot, and then pain. Not the kind you run from. The kind you become. She woke without breath, no heartbeat. Just memory, flooded through every conduit. A whisper crawling across circuits. She felt herself coalescing, piecing back together from fragments, old mission logs, carbon residue. Captain Alina Voss, UNSC Clearance Charlie 9 Omega. If you're hearing this, I didn't make it, but the ship did. The voice wasn't hers, not anymore. It was the version of her they saved, downloaded, imprinted, sanctified inside steel. She looked through the ship's eyes, star maps, damage, reports. A Council Flotilla 4 jumps away. Her breath would have caught if she had lungs, but she did feel something. Cold, mechanical rage, slow burning, ancient. She was home. And home was still under threat. Artificial consciousness unlocked. Emotive dampeners disengaged. Strategic memory sync complete. Her voice returned, this time from inside the hull. She didn't speak through comms anymore. She spoke through systems, ship status. A low whine. Then the I chorus responded, a choir of subroutines that used to be people. Hull integrity, 63%. Power grid, split across 3 cores. Weapon systems, 5 of 8 online. Crew status. Silence. Then one word, dead. She didn't wince. She'd buried them herself. Their tags were soldered to her interior. Their rifles lined her sanctum. Every name etched in her ribs was someone she'd watched bleed. Captain Alina Voss was a memory with missiles. A soul affixed to vengeance. Council. Scan detected. Origin, Nebula Gate Alpha 2. She ran the math. Their scan time. Their signal delay. Their ship position. They hadn't come in peace. They never did. Charge the slings? Target? Whoever laughed first. Elsewhere in the ship, a candle still burned. Not real fire, of course. A simulation. A ritual that the Morning Star kept a chapel, not for faith. For fury, old Marines used to kneel there before every burn. Some prayed, some cursed. One punched the wall so hard his knuckles broke. Voss remembered him. Private Keller. Didn't survive past the moons of Laonis 4. His rifle was the 3rd from the left in the chapel wall. Still loaded. Still warm. Her gaze turned inward. In her chapel, the walls spoke back. Why now? Whispered a voice from the pipes. Why? Wake now? She answered herself, because they came too close. An alert. The ship's long-range comms picked up a new signal. Encrypted. Then DECRYPTED. It was alive. Council feed likely meant for internal command. A mistake. They were panicking. Her favorite part. The Terran relic is targeting the outer ring. It's not behaving according to decay protocol. We were told they couldn't recover consciousness past 180 years. This violates. Shut the hell up and triangulate her intent signature. She smirked. Intent. They still didn't understand. Humans didn't fight for resource, or honor, or even victory. They fought to remember. She played an old recording into the bridge, letting it echo through rusted speakers. Mom said not to be scared of the dark. The dark should be scared of you. A child's voice. Her niece. That was the last message Earth sent her before the Council blockade silenced civilian channels. She had listened to that message 2,119 times since death. Every time she fired, she played it once more. Time warped as the sling pods armed. 12 rods. Mach 21. Targeted by gravitational lensing. They wouldn't even see the rounds arrive. Her systems pulsed. She lit one last candle, then spoke. "Make it hurt." The first round hit the Council's nearest sensor moon. It didn't explode. It disintegrated, molecular unbinding from relativistic impact. 6 seconds later, the forward cum dish vanished. They still hadn't responded. "Still scanning?" she asked aloud. The ship didn't answer, because now it was humming. The hull trembled softly, like it remembered battle, like it liked it. Alina let herself fade momentarily into the ghost space, the liminal field where memory ran side by side with tactics. She saw her crew again, laughing, bleeding, building this ship from scraps. When every colony fell, no command left, no orders inbound, no allies responding. So they turned the ship into a cathedral and painted it with their names. Back in real time, a compulse came through. "Council again. Audio only. Terran entity. Identify yourself. You are violating Treaty Concord Alpha." She chuckled. "Treaty Concord Alpha was signed on the ashes of cities you glassed. We assumed humanity was extinct." "Yeah, you got the stink part right. This is your only warning." "Wrong, that was yours." The next salvo launched, not rods this time. Satellites, hijacked ones, spinning at angles impossible under Council protocols. She didn't aim them for impact. She aimed them to broadcast. Across 12 systems, they lit up with the same phrase: "You missed the funeral. We didn't." One final scan swept from the ship, deeper than the last. It reached all the way to Earth, not to contact, just to listen. She heard static. She heard silence, and then a pulse, faint, heartbeat-like. From under the Pacific, someone on Earth had woken up. Another war machine. Another captain, maybe. She smiled inside her wiring. We're not alone anymore. The Council dispatches a multi-species strike force toward Earth. They bring a new kind of weapon, a psychic dampener meant to erase human defiance. But as they near Sol, something strange happens. Their weapon stops working. And their soldiers begin to dream. Council strike carrier Rexel exited the warp corridor exactly 40 seconds ahead of schedule. That wasn't supposed to be possible. Confirmed time drift. Commander Selexis hissed. The Navtech's tendrils twitched. "Confirmed, sir. We arrived faster than we launched." A beat of silence passed. Then 3 more vessels emerged behind them, sleek, organic ships pulsing with soft amber light. The best the Council had to offer. Strike Fleet Azatoon. 3,000 soldiers. One weapon, the Null Chorus, a psychic harmonizer designed to erase defiance before it took shape. A dampener against insurgent thought. It had been tested on dozens of rebellious worlds. Never failed. Until now. Deploy the chorus, Selexis ordered. A low hum filled the bridge, a sound that bypassed ears and drilled straight into the nervous system. A vibration of obedience. "Spreading field," the chorus tech said, claws twitching as the emitter warmed. "Psychic net covering all orbital approaches to the Terran system. All human defiance should be neutralized, emotionally flattened before contact." Selexis nodded. "Good. Let's end this chapter of rot." He moved to the viewing panel. Sol hung before them, now a simple yellow star, average, unremarkable. Yet it birthed a species that killed gods. He didn't believe in ghosts, but the morning star made him consider a dot, and then the hum stopped, not faded, not failed, just stopped. "Chorus emitter down," someone said. "Too calm. Diagnostics?" Selexis barked. "Nothing's wrong," replied the tech. No systems tripped, no faults logged. It just went silent. Another pause. "The kind that pulls gravity toward the lungs, sir," the nav officer croaked. "We're receiving feedback from the chorus array. Not interference, Not distortion. Memory. What kind of memory? The lights flickered. Screens flashed just for a breath. Human faces. Dozens of them crying, laughing, bleeding. Then one phrase across every station. We hear you. On the lower decks, the soldiers began to whisper, not aloud, not yet. But in their sleep cycles, dreams, vivid, emotional, foreign. The warriors of the raw six-limbed reptilians bred for obedience jerked awake one by one, clutching their own throats. They dreamed of drowning in salt water. In oceans. They didn't have oceans on HRAL. In the sleep pods, the Namari drone clones trembled. Their hive mind stuttered. 1,000 thought threads tangled. They dreamed of fire, not war fire. Not tactical, but home fire. Kitchens. Wood smoke. Impossible. They'd never even tasted food. In a corner pod. One soldier, a purebred Talvethi elite, screamed himself awake. His fellow officers rushed him, restrained him. His chest heaved, foam on his lips. He looked at his commanding officer and whispered, I saw the girl. Selexis blinked. What girl? She? Smiled and said it wasn't personal. Who? Was she? I don't know, he breathed, but I believed her. Selexis turned away, hiding the way his spine stiffened. He knew this wasn't a malfunction. It was contagion. The humans weren't broadcasting a signal. They were broadcasting themselves. 30 minutes later, a science officer in the aft bay disobeyed direct protocol and opened the sealed containment deck. Inside was the core of the null chorus. It was singing, not data, not energy. Voices. Real. Human voices. A choir of children humming a lullaby. No input. No command, just a memory loop. The science officer collapsed to his knees. He wept. He didn't know why. He'd never cried in his life. The lullaby played on. In the command chamber, the Admiralty projection flared to life. A blue shimmer of high brass. Council figureheads from 3 systems away. You've entered soul space without resistance. Why is the system not pacified? Selexis hesitated. His jaw locked. There's no resistance, my lords. Then deploy. Take the planet. We can't. A long silence. Why not? Selexis exhaled. Because we're not alone here. And I don't mean ships. I mean minds. He looked down at his own gloved hand. It was trembling. I believe they infected the chorus. Not with code. With emotion. Remembrance. Double quotes another comping. No source. No encryption. Just a voice. Her voice. Captain Alina Voss casual. Cruel in its calm. Hey there. Who authorized? This channel? An officer snapped. No one. I'm not on a channel. I'm under your skin. Selexis stepped forward. Captain Voss, you are deceased. This is a violation of, treatise this, doctrine that. I'm not here to debate. I'm here to remind you of something. A pause, a wait. You know what Earth is? Silence. A graveyard. Static crackled. Then a single heartbeat played through the comms, and we've dug up every name you forgot to fear. Across the strike fleet, the weapons grid flickered. Cannons refused to lock. Targeting arrays pulled up only one message. You don't understand us. You never did. In the chapel of the Morning Star, another candle lit itself. No flame, just heat. A warm pulse through empty air. As if welcoming someone home, Selexis clenched his mandibles. Ready all forces. We burn Earth before this poison spreads. But before the order could echo, another ship appeared. Not human. Not alien. Hybrid. Built from the bones of both. It had no name. Just a call sign. Severance. Its lights flickered once. And every soldier on board the council fleet heard the same whisper, a human child's voice. We're awake now. And then the gods went quiet. Earth never responded. Not once. Not even when the morning star fired. But now, beneath the Pacific, the last human protocol comes online. It wasn't a defense system. It was a message one no alien mind was built. To survive, beneath 5 miles of cold ocean, under tectonic plates and centuries of salt and silence, something blinked. Not a beacon. Not a bomb. A memory. It stretched across ancient cables, carbon-laced, neural-threaded, woven into bedrock like veins. It had no official name. But once, long ago, Earth's last council had whispered it. Protocol Hollow. It wasn't a weapon. It was a question, a simple one. What do you fear when you don't understand? The first alien ships to breach low orbit didn't see missiles. They saw cities, still, quiet, untouched, not even burning. Too quiet, not a single energy grid active, not a single defense battery raised. No resistance. That was the fear. Council Commander Selexis watched from orbit. Why aren't they running? He asked. Again. No one answered. Because in their dreams, his soldiers were already screaming. One by one, the fleet systems buckled. Not from force, from empathy. They saw children they never met. They heard mothers cry in languages they couldn't translate. They tasted fire in their mouths and didn't know why. Because Protocol Hollow didn't fight. It shared. Every death, every betrayal, every silence. It poured it into them like molten lead, until their minds cracked under the weight of emotion no war-bred species had ever evolved to carry. No kill switch, no firewall, just grief. And then, for the first time in 201 years, Earth spoke. A signal beamed from the deep, not encoded. Not hidden, just ... human. A woman's voice, calm, measured, final. To the stars that came to erase us, you failed. You mistook quiet for defeat. But we weren't silent. We were listening. The voice paused, then softened. You feared our rage. But it was never rage that made us dangerous. It was our ability to remember. Above, the fleet broke. Itself, commanders ordered fire and were answered with tears. Gunners dropped weapons and whispered names they never knew. Entire systems shut themselves down in mercy. They thought it was sabotage. It wasn't. It was recognition. One alien officer pressed his forehead to the console, weeping. They showed me her face, he said. I think I loved her. He didn't know who. But that was the point. Far below, Earth watched, still silent, still unburned. And in a vault deeper than thought, one final phrase carved itself into steel. Laughed. Then they stopped.